Hello there, and welcome to the solution video for puzzle number 5. There's a lot of ground to cover here, so let's get started. For reasons I'll explain in more detail soon, there are actually 2 videos to puzzle number 5, although the original intent was for there to just be one video. One was basically a roadblock, and the other was the actual puzzle video. So, to help keep this somewhat organized, this solution video is split up into 2 parts. Part 1 is the roadblock, and Part 2 is the machine. I'm not going to go through the entirety of both videos here, so in the description below are links to both videos. Watch them in their entirety first, then come back here. Then I promise that everything I explain from here on out will make a little more sense. Go ahead. I'll wait. Firstly, I want to thank the players on this puzzle who clued me into what they all ended up dealing with here on this part. The handful of people I spoke with, all of their stories pretty much played out the same way. If you've been watching my puzzle videos to this point, you know that an outside party named Ken, or KT, has been showing up at the treasure hunt sites and physically leaving other information behind. In this case, there's no doubt that my original puzzle video was also hijacked. I don't know if it was KT this time, but in this case, after what looks like a pirate signal overrides my video, we are being treated to Future Truck and Future Amanda taking a spin on what appears to be a beautiful mid-October afternoon. While I'm thrilled to know I'm still alive just over a month from now, it's a little unsettling to see this play out. Fortunately, if you're patient, it appears we're given a way out, as a DJ known as The Ghost appears to recognize that we are not supposed to be on this timeline and cleverly offers us a detour.
And brought to you by The Hive and Truck Puzzles. If you get stuck, better call Truck 628-212-0600. He'll get you solved and on your way. Speaking of which, on the way, got some Elton John.
Calling this phone number brings us to this automated message from the Truck Puzzle Hotline.
Thank you for calling the Truck Puzzle Hotline. There's a disruption in the timeline. We apologize for the inconvenience. Please listen carefully to the following instructions. Send an email to our tech support team at overthinking628@gmail.com with puzzle #5 request in the subject line. And one of our staff will respond with your ticket number and the correct link to the puzzle. Have a wonderful day.
Following these instructions and sending the requested email gets you a near instant response from Truck Puzzles Tech Support.
Hey, sorry about the interruption to your puzzle video. You weren't supposed to see that yet, so just keep that to yourself, okay? Here's a link to a clean copy of the puzzle number 5 video. You'll be hearing from me again sometime. Until then, stay safe. Regards, Stinger. P.S. Your ticket number is 45237488.
The trippiest part about all this? I'm Truck, and I have never even heard of the Truck Puzzle Hotline or Truck Puzzles Tech Support. I'm just one guy. What do I need a hotline or a support staff for? Unless KT is also some sort of hacking expert, I have my doubts this is his handiwork. Moving on, the link provided in the email finally gets us to the place I wanted to send you in the first place, the machine. Again, if you have not seen the puzzle video for the machine yet, and there's a chance you haven't, since the link to it was previously only available via email, please do that first before continuing. There's a link to that in the description below. Okay, ready? So alas, here we are at the machine. I was asked by several players what this is. I can tell you it is an IBM 705, an early data processing computer that saw its heyday in the mid to late 1950s. This was state-of-the-art at that time. This puzzle is an exploration of pattern recognition, along with several different forms of cipher solving and code breaking, so you may learn a thing or two about some of that by the time we're done here. I can also tell you that all of these things I'm about to reveal to you can be deciphered and decoded from a quick Google search. There are many tools at your disposal.
Your prime objective in this puzzle is to find a one-word answer. You'll use various methods of code breaking and cipher solving, so remember that the internet is your friend here.
As is frequently the case with these puzzles, what you see and what you hear can be equally important. There's quite a bit of odd noises and blinking lights to parse through, so let's see if we can figure out any sort of structure. A sound is played, an array of lights blink on and off, and then the same sound is played again, ending the sequence. Through the entire puzzle, this pattern holds 7 times. A sound to open the sequence, a bunch of lights, then that same sound to close the sequence. The red and green lights seem to also change with each sequence, with the red lights counting upwards in a bank of 7 lights called message counter. So in all there are 7 sequences. What are they? Sequence 1 starts with a bell ring. The lights that flash seem to come in pairs with pauses in between, with the numbers 0 through 9 and the letters A through F in a grid pattern. The bell rings again, ending the sequence. These alphanumeric pairs are in a numerical system known as hexadecimal, or hex for short. There's also a label for that at the bottom of the light grid if you look closely enough. Primarily used in computing, hex is what is known as a base 16 numerical system, where instead of how our system accounting goes from 0 through 9, this system counts from 0 to 15, where 0 through 9 is 0 through 9, but A represents 10, B represents 11, C 12, and so on and so forth. If you convert these numerals from hex to decimal using any of the array of online tools at your disposal, you get the word helium. Sequence 2 begins with 2 buzzes. The red and green lights shift position, and what appear to be letters begin to flash on a bank of lights labeled Multi-Purpose Display 1. The letters by themselves make no sense, but this is what is called a Caesar cipher. A Caesar cipher is one whose letters all shift in one way by the same number of letters. For example, with a word like BME, we can keep shifting the letters of the word over 1 until we have an answer. In this case, dog. The trick is figuring out how many letters to move. In this case, the 2 buzzers tell us to move 2 letters, so when decoded, the word for sequence 2 is lithium. So now we have 2 elements. Interesting. Sequence 3 begins with a telephone ringing. The red and green lights move, followed by what looks like Braille flashing on a 2x3 panel with the label No Eye Vision. These are indeed letters in the Braille alphabet and translate directly to the word boron, another element. The fourth sequence is a combination of 2 sounds we've already heard, the bell ring, followed by 4 buzzes, and the red and green lights move once more. The lights in the hexadecimal light bank flash again. We know for sure now the bell must be associated with the hex numerals. The letters in this translate to make little sense, but the 4 buzzes are telling you to shift these letters 4 places in the alphabet, giving you the word nitrogen, yet another element. So, 4 sequences into this puzzle, it's obvious we're dealing with elements here. Sequence 5 starts with an old phone tone. The red and green lights change position once again. Multi-purpose displays 1 through 3 are flashing a series of dashes and dots. Ah yes, Morse code. These letters translate directly to the word sodium, adding another to our roster of elements. Almost there. The 6th sequence is another combination of sounds, the phone ringing followed by 6 buzzes. The phone ringing is tied to the Braille lights. The letters, of course, are gibberish until they're shifted 6 times, forming the word aluminum. The 7th and final sequence is a new sound, a series of high-pitched beeps, followed by lights flashing on the same panel where the green lights have been all along. This one takes a little bit of thinking. You don't need to focus on the green light's meaning to solve this sequence. Remember, you didn't need it for the other 6, so ignore that, for now. What if we numbered these lights from 1 to 20, like so? If we write down what numbered light flashes, we can very easily translate this row of numbers directly into letters with the help of our simple A1Z26 cipher, where 1 equals A, 2 equals B, and so on. Using this method, we come up with the word chlorine. So with our 7 sequences all solved, what is our answer? It's going to take a little more work, but we're getting closer. Let's turn our focus to the red and green lights on this puzzle. We know they shift position with each puzzle sequence, but what do they mean? The red lights are simple. It says right on the machine that this is a message counter. It goes from 1 to 7, in order, simple. No hidden meaning there, it's just a counter, another way to guide you from one sequence to another. But what are the green lights, and what do they mean? We don't really learn anything about that particular bank of lights called Multi-Purpose Display 4 until the very last sequence, when we learn that these lights represent the number 1 through 20. What if we use this same idea for the green lights? What is that telling us? If we do that, we are given, in order, the numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and 17. Do you recognize the pattern? For those who don't, and for those who willingly forgot everything they learned about math in school, these are prime numbers. Prime numbers, to refresh your memory, are those numbers that are divisible only by themselves and 1. It's also worth noting that these are prime numbers in sequence, not skipping any. So going back to the list of what we know, we can put in our green light prime numbers in here as well. Do we have what we need to come up with an answer? Yes, we do. By this point, you're doing yourself a huge disservice if you haven't referenced a periodic table of elements. If you scan over this table, you can see that these prime numbers correspond exactly to that element's atomic number. Helium's is 2, nitrogen's is 7, chlorine's is 17. The answer to the puzzle literally comes down to the question of what comes next. If we follow the sequence of prime numbers, 19 is the one that follows. The element with atomic number 19? Potassium. 11 of you got the answer correct. Great job. Some of you came very close but just didn't finish the sequence. 2 $50 prizes went out to Johannes and Tamara in a campfire random prize draw last weekend. I wish I could have given you all $50, but a man's got to eat, you know? So that concludes the madness that is puzzle number 5, the machine. Sounds like you all had a great time working on this one, which is great because a lot went into it. Puzzle number 6 is going to be another Twin Cities treasure hunt, and I can't wait to share this one with you all. I'm looking at the weekend of September 25th to have that one ready to go. A lot of work has already gone into it, and there's plenty more to do. One shout out to my new YouTube friend Amy Seeks. She was kind enough to give my channel a shout out in one of her recent videos, and I really appreciate that. Amy's channel is very focused on all types of treasure hunts and features lively discussions with other enthusiasts. It's a great channel, and you should check it out. Until then, I hope you'll subscribe and check out my other puzzle videos if you haven't already, as there is some backstory building here that may help you with context in future treasure hunts and puzzles. That does it for this installment of Truck Puzzles. I'll see you in a couple weeks for number 6. Have a great one, puzzle pals.